We are live at Mohawk Chevrolet. It is a special day to be at Mohawk Chevy. I mean, every day, special day to be at Mohawk Chevy. Goz is the big Mohawk Honda member of the family. I'm the big Mohawk Chevy member of the family, but we're all Mohawk family members. And today, great day as we are celebrating the amazing athletes of the Special Olympics. We have some great athletes from the area who are going to be representing us in the state games, ultimately in the United States games. It's going to be great. So what they're doing at Mohawk Chevrolet today, and plenty of time to get over here and cheer these athletes on, is it's like a red carpet autograph signature thing, like where you're going to meet the people who are going to represent New York State in the Special Olympics. So it's just a great time. You want to talk about? I'm very partial to the Empire football players, but let's be real. The Special Olympics athletes are the best ones in New York State.
I'm so glad we're here. It's been a wild week for you and I.
Yes.
We've had a lot of rescheduling. No, we've been doing this.
Guys started to think I was that girl from high school who just didn't want to hang out with them. Guys, what are you doing Tuesday? Oh, I'm doing a coach's show, guys. I can't do. Oh, but we could always do Wednesday. Oh, I got a thing. I gotta. And then finally, it was like, all right, fine. Well, Thursday we'll go and be a part of something way bigger and better than us, the Special Olympics.
This is the great part about the job that I like, though, is because we've been pretty consistent for about 10 months on when we did stuff, and then when cool events happen like this, we can do it on the fly. We can make it happen. We can make it work and get to go out and support great athletes like we can today and great partners like Mohawk Chevrolet to be here. This awesome, amazing. I feel like it's getting nicer and bigger every time I come in here. Maybe it's because I'm covered with like child's toys throughout the day. And
well, the longer
stains.
The longer you're away, the less they have to fix.
Oh,
you're kind of, like this is just one of those things. Like the more Ghazi Bear is in the den, the more messed up the den gets. You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense. I get what you're saying.
I got Chris Hughes is going to give me a list of our athletes with some bios. I see our good friend Roger Weiland is here. It's the place to be. Mohawk Chevrolet, right here in Malta, the Saratoga area, Boston Spa. It's Route 67.
Roger on the road.
Are you coming
I
in?
like that.
Roger on the road.
Nate's
here.
Nate?
Roger on the road.
Yeah, Nate's here. He's not on camera
yet,
which is saying, I mean, he's got a beautiful pair of shoes on. I mean, these things.
Whoa.
It's okay.
You can get them right out of Oz with those things. So, all right. So tell us a little bit about today real quick, since you're over here. This is just a very cool event, and you didn't lock the door. So here we are.
We didn't lock the door, and I actually think I invited you. I don't know why. But
you didn't think I could make it. You're like, oh, he's going to Columbus, Georgia to take on the Lions.
I was told that El Presidente had to go.
Yeah. And then I said,
but he's not. He's here.
And I said, if Nate needs me, no. But then Andy Gelcher called me. And I said, I'm in. I said, all right.
Yeah, so we're here. We're doing an autograph signing for 10 out of the 14 Special Olympic athletes who are going down to the USA Games in June. We just thought it'd be really awesome to give them the celebration that they deserve for all the hard work that they're putting in. So we have 40 pictures for each of the 10 that are out here. We're going to have, we got cookies, waters.
I love this. You guys do it right. Mohawk always does it right. Special Olympics does it right. So you get the two together. It's going to be done right.
Plus, we have the Albany Empire. And
yeah, I've got some tickets to give away for, and these are vouchers. So what I've done is this way, June 3rd, we have a big event for the Special Olympics as well. We have a June 4th game. Maybe you're tied up that week. Yeah, how about you come to the next one that we do? Vouchers, because that's how we are.
That's the best way.
The Empire. That's what we do. We support.
The Empire.
Yeah, we give back. Yes, the Empire. That's the Empire right there, my friend.
Those are Spartans.
You're damn right we are. We do. Okay. We are what we want to be. Okay.
Got it.
All right. Thank you. I mean, you're a Honda guy when I met you. And now you're a Chevy guy. Don't talk to me about change.
I'm both.
Team Mohawk.
Yes.
We're all Team Mohawk here.
So, Nate, what does this entail for you today? I feel like you're going to be doing like 95 different things. I see different cameras, different microphones, different people.
So we're going to be Facebook Live. We also have Roger
Weiland. So we're competing
live here. What?
Oh, we're competing today.
So the Twitter and the Facebook is all you guys. A little
cross.
I like this. A little cross going on today.
Well, no Twitter for us.
Oh.
You guys can go Twitter if you want.
No, it's too late now.
It's too late. Yeah, I know. It's way too far. Too far gone. Yeah. But we're gonna have.
You're lucky guys showed up. He gets lost a lot. He started going to the Honda dealership. Everybody was there screaming no. He broke something again. So just be glad he found us.
Yeah. So we live on Facebook and YouTube.
All right. Very cool.
Mohawk
so
Honda,
Mohawk Honda, Mohawk Chevy. Facebook, YouTube. We're on the Techies Fire and Water Restoration Facebook, Godzilla Media YouTube. We are taking over the interwebs.
Yes, we are.
For this event. and rightfully so.
Absolutely.
Rightfully so. All right.
If you don't know now, you know.
Yeah. Well, and then again, every one of these athletes deserves the attention they're going to get today.
100%.
Times 10. What you should do is come get the autographs, and then you'll have somebody to root for when you watch the games, because the games are down at Disney, like taking over Wide World of Sports.
Oh yeah,
they're taking over ESPN Wide World of Sports at Disney for the Special Olympics this year. So you're going to be able to watch. You're going to be able to cheer on our guys, our girls. Get the autographs.
Come here, get the autographs.
Love it. That's
love
our
it,
guy.
love you.
Keep up the good
I
work.
love you. So we're going to jump on your show at some point too.
Yeah.
Like we're going to just it's just completely internet incest. Yes, it's happening.
Oh, okay.
It's happening.
All
Wait,
right.
no, not that. That's weird. That's because that's probably out there. Don't Google that, kids. Don't Google that.
Definitely
don't. All right. So, yes, it's like, enough of you.
And I'm gone.
Is that all I had to do? He's got to get back to Oz. He clicks those heels together 3 times and he's out of here. I love Andy Gelcher. Yeah, Nate's wearing like these bright red shoes, a bright red belt. He matches the bright red Corvette in the showroom here today.
Were we supposed to wear red? Was this a thing we missed? Because I see a lot of Mohawk staff members wearing the red today. I feel like we might have missed that.
I don't wear the same color as Andy Gelcher because Andy Gelcher's in shape.
Oh, okay.
You know, the comparisons of being great leaders, big parts of the community.
Right.
I don't need the comparison to then also go to the fact that he actually takes care of himself. And they're like, hey, Levack, what did you do last night? Well, I got loaded. How do you like that?
And I wasn't wearing red. Right.
Yeah, I don't know what I was wearing, if I'm being perfectly honest. I know I was in an Uber. That's all I really know. Yeah, so we're here. We'd love if you guys came by, said hello. Of course, you can interact with the show like you always do if you're listening or watching live on Facebook for Techie's Fire and Water Restoration, Godzilla's YouTube. And if you're listening after the fact, you should have been at Mohawk, you loser. I think that's fair.
I think that's their new expression. If you're not here, you're a loser.
I'm just wondering which entity that makes most sense. Special Olympics. If you're not here rooting on our athletes, you're a loser. I like it. I don't think Chris Hughes and Stacy and everybody here from Sony would go for it, but I'm going to try. I'm going to put it out there. All right. Do you want to talk the sports? Because I don't know if I want to talk the sports.
No, we can. Where do we want to go there? There's so many things that have happened since we last spoke for the Albany Empire pregame show. We've almost had basically a week, it seems like, since we've actually talked about the wildness that is usually not late in May in sports. Where do you want to begin? I'll let you kick it off.
Let's start with how ridiculous the overreaction of Major League Baseball was for Josh Donaldson calling a dude Jackie, calling it racist. La Russa called it racist. Now there's suspensions. I know he appealed, but if you if you started calling yourself Marconi, I will start calling you Marconi as like mocking. You know what I mean? Like, he invented radio, so did I. And not because like you had like Italian heritage or something, because you tried to compare yourself to one of the greats of all time, someone who's been through things far more difficult than what you've been through. That is mockery. It should be allowed. It is not racist. If he dropped an N-bomb, a slur of some variety, a hard R out there, get him. This is stupid. This is because La Russa said it was racist, and now you're acting like it's racist.
This is what sports is supposed to be when it comes to trash talk. Like when you do something dumb and you're on the field, or you've given your opponent a reason to get in your head, play mental games, and keep it clean. This is why sports is great. If you're going to go out in 2019 and call yourself the modern day Jackie Robinson because you celebrate after home runs. Like Tim Anderson, like before, this is actually a pretty easy player to root for because a lot of that stuff showing off personality.
Very good.
Right. Really good player, popular in Chicago, has personality. Every broadcaster and media member who has covered him has spoke so highly of him, like wanting to bring attention to the White Sox in particular. When if you argue who's the more popular team in Chicago, Cubs fans would probably take that nationally. But when you do the White Sox and Tim Anderson, everyone spoke so highly of him. When you call yourself the modern day Jackie Robinson because you're celebrating home runs, you have opened yourself up to be made fun of.
Yes.
And the fact that Josh Donaldson did it the way he did, of, all right, Jackie, what's going on? I would have laughed. Like if I was a Yankee player on the team, that is such easy, basic trash talk 101. And it just pissed off Tim Anderson. That's it.
Right.
And he got him upset and blah, blah, blah. But he walked into it. And I'm Team Donaldson on this one.
Right.
I feel like that's a pretty nice, easy way to do trash talk.
Do you feel he's being punished because they really think what he said was racist? A. B. they just want to get ahead of it just in case anyone thinks he's racist, or C, Donaldson's a known prick. And they were like, you know what, just in case, let's get him because we don't like him anyway.
I feel like I'm leaning towards a little bit of B, and I feel like I want to add to your B of the choices there because it goes to what's happened over the last, 10 years, maybe 5 years. If you feel like somebody's been offended by something, then you might have to have a conversation, right? Like the thing that's happened over the last 5 years is that, hey, you should be offended because of this. Like people try to tell you why to be offended, but it actually feels like Tim Anderson was offended. Like whether or not he was being a little fragile because he'd heard that mockery before and now was the time he wanted to take a stand. I don't know if that matters in the sense of Major League Baseball because, okay, this is what the guy said to me. This is how I took it. It's hard to say how you should or shouldn't take it, but I get it. I would say the stuff about Brian McCann years ago with the Yankees is more offensive than the Donaldson stuff. Remember when Brian McCann for a while for the Yankees was being like the gatekeeper of baseball, where all the unwritten rules, Brian McCann had appointed himself of the one that I can get with and be like, you know what, back off a little bit, buddy. But this one is like this. It's
he stood up to it. He gave a good reason. Like he gave a reasonable excuse, like plausible deniability. Let's call it just that. Like. Had called him Jackie because he calls himself Jackie. And, oh, by the way, I've done it before. And guess what? I'm going to do it again because he's an arrogant D-bag.
Here's another part to add to this story.
And I'm talking about both of them, Donaldson and Anderson.
But this White Sox-Yankee rivalry, there was a game the next day, I believe it was, that Joe Kelly, who's a part of the White Sox now, Aaron Hicks is leading off as second base.
Joe Kelly. Every Yankee fan loves Joe Kelly.
Right? So Joe Kelly is pitching. Hicks is on second, and Kelly picks him off.
Yeah.
So Joe Kelly told the story to a media member, I believe, in Chicago, who said, oh, I love picking off Hicks. You know what I did to him after I picked him off? Way to go, Hicksy. That a boy. Nice base running. So, he's talking specs. So it's like, whoa, hang on. Everyone's saying Tim Anderson and Josh Donaldson, you can't do that.
Right.
But you the next day in the same teams, in the same players, did the same taunt that Donaldson did the day before.
Right.
And it doesn't even seem like it's correlated because it's not the back of the USA Today article. It's baseball and having fun and talking smack and being competitive.
Well, and I think what you're seeing too is baseball being overly cautious because they're trying to bring in younger fans, they're trying to cross sections, whatever. But if you homogenize it any more than it already is, it's not fun. It is neither fun nor funny. It is just like it's just stupid. Like this is one of those ones. And I don't know if you're listening, if you're watching on Techie's Fire and Water Restoration's Facebook, Godzilla's YouTube, comment if you think I'm wrong. I just think this was a knee-jerk overreaction. La Russa, who, I don't like being that guy who goes, well, you're white. How are you gonna whatever? No, you know racism. Like what is it? That was the only reason. The definition of an indecency. I know it when I see it. I know it when I see it. Like know it when you see it. And if you think it's being racist, and somebody goes, whoa, no, like, oh, like I just told this story the other day. So we had a coworker, big dude. He was wearing a Harambe shirt. I started calling him Harambe. I had no idea he had any African-American heritage. I had no idea. No idea. So after months and months of now everyone calling him that, someone comes to me and goes, that's racist. And I'm like, wait, what? How is that racist? I call you an orangutan all the time because you sit like one. Like, right. I'm like, how's that? I'm like, well, he's got African-American heritage. So I go to him, I go, hold up. A, do you? And, yeah, you didn't know that? No. Okay. B, and more importantly, are you at all offended by me calling you Harambe? No, I think it's great. I'm like, okay. All right, good. I just want to make sure you understood. There was never any racial connotation to that name. You wore a Harambe shirt, and you're as big as a freaking gorilla. You're a beast. Good for you. And it was just one of those things where it was like, to this day, I call that dude that same name, and it was the intention was there. If Donaldson's telling the truth, which I have no reason to believe he's not, I know he's got a reputation of being a jerk, but if he's telling the truth, why in the world should I call him racist?
And to add to that story, he's one of, if not the biggest Albany Empire fan. So it's not like it changed your guys' relationship at all.
Right.
He is one of the biggest fans. Well, shout out on the last broadcast on the YouTube side. Yeah.
Matter of fact,
he's a lot smaller, by the way, now too.
He's tiny now compared to what he used to be. But that section, incited such a reaction out of Jacksonville that we've decided to we're gonna put some signs up around that section. A little that's the welcoming committee.
Okay.
That's the Empire. That's the Albany Empire welcoming committee right there.
I hope this doesn't catch you off guard, but there was a conversation I caught at the end of the game where the Empire win, celebration, Jackson, and I saw Mike Corda go over to those guys. Now, it might have been something as simple as like, hey, I'm going to let you guys on the field, or thanks for coming, because I felt bad. I haven't had this conversation with you yet. I felt bad for Mike Corda, the owner of the Albany Empire, because during the game on Sunday, we had one of the Jacksonville Shark players go over the top of the boards and land on a kid.
Yep.
There's a replay review that Jacksonville challenged because it looked like the ball had gone off the boards, but instead it went off a poor little girl.
Her face.
And then this section with the Goz guys with Jacksonville.
Well, so you missed one too, by the way. So there was Jacksonville player lands on a poor girl on the one side. He was reckless. It was all his fault though. Then the poor little girl in the field suites, it hit her face. No, it bounced back on the field so fast. Everyone thought it hit metal. Both kids ended up being just fine. But there was also a play where Darius Prince goes over the wall right there, lands on a gentleman, and the EMTs had to come take care of him.
Oh, I didn't see that.
And here's the thing about that. He called us this week. He says, guys, I'm just curious. Can I move to the back row of tables now? Because my family doesn't really want me in the front row anymore. And it's just like everybody ended up being fine, which God bless. We're gonna put signs out. Hey, head on a swivel. But the one little girl, I'm not even gonna say which little girl it was, just because I don't want to embarrass. I go over and I'm just checking, and Mike Corda, to his credit, every one of those incidents, he's the first one there. He's giving the kid a ball, a T-shirt, whatever he's got handy. Here you go. Are you okay? So I go over afterwards and I'm just like, hey, how is everything? Whatever. I go to the dad. I go, is she okay? Shark, my man.
Hey.
So I go over and I'm checking, and the dad goes, let me tell a story real quick, Shark, and then I'm all yours. You guys are you're good. No, you're good. I just want to finish the story before I lose my train of thought. I go over and the dad goes, she's fine. If nobody had noticed, she wouldn't even have cried. Blah, blah, blah. And he goes, and all of a sudden he turns and he goes, and I've been telling her to put the damn phone down. What's close to the wall? And I'm like, okay, so that's every dad apparently. That's the whole thing. Shark, what's up, man? You doing swimming down there? What are you doing? What's that? Powerlift? Oh, that's damn. You remember
Strong,
Shark?
I do.
Yeah, Shark, come over behind Goz so everybody can see you on the camera here.
A wave right here.
Yeah, give him a wave.
There you go.
So this is my guy. This is my guy, Tommy Mooney. We lovingly call him Shark because when I first met him, he was a swimmer. Now he's a power lifter. So he's like Jaws now. He's super Shark.
Better than the Jacksonville Sharks. You take them all out.
Oh, dude, we wouldn't have been able to beat the Sharks if Shark was on the field for the Sharks.
That's right.
That's why he's good. So everybody's coming here today to get Shark's autograph among others, and that's my guy. That is my guy. So, what's that? Well, you have fun. This is your day, my friend, and we are here for you. So you say what you need. Shark's also one of the ones who helped me eat Ufaletta once. So
I remember that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
That was when he wasn't this svelte, machine. This 70?
70.
I found it. If you want it back, if you want it back, it's all yours. This is one of the men of the hour right here, Shark. That's my guy, Mooney, and he'll be here. My man, I'll be here. I'm gonna hang out with you. That's my guy. That's my guy. It was funny. I met Chris Hughes for the first time. Well, I met him before, but how you doing?
Hey.
What's your name? Rebecca. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, very nice. Rebecca's here too. Everybody's here hanging out at Mohawk Chevy. We're having a blast. You're a swimmer too?
You're a swimmer too. Nice.
Oh, you challenge Shark for the title. That's what it's going to be about. I can feel it.
You were saying about Chris Hughes, who you met today.
Yeah, well, I met him a little while ago, but then we got to actually talk. And I said, my guy Shark. He goes, that's where that nickname came from? He loves that nickname. I'm like, I've found a few good nicknames around. A few good nicknames have come from me. But no, the Donaldson thing, I just hope that just fizzles out. I really hope it fizzles out.
Well, why give some love here to some of the athletes walking around? I want to give love to our guy, Jared Lozier. I don't know if you've come up with a nickname that you can say into that microphone around these wonderful athletes.
Doesn't Jared Lozier look like if you put Chris Hughes in the microwave and shrunk him?
Yes.
Yeah.
518-956-3753. One more time for that number, 518-956-3753. You're looking to save cash for your things that are important to you in your life, your car, your home, your small business, insurance policies. So many other prices in your life right now might be going up. The grocery bills might be a little higher, and you realize the gas prices. At the end of the year, when you can find a way to save some cash, it is such a huge help. And Jared Lozier wants to help you. Whether it's a free quote via the phone or text or email, JAREDL@nemail.com. Jared Lozier can help you save cash. There's nothing better to do in 2022 than saving some money, and Jared Lozier is your guy. He could compete. He could be, I think Chris Hughes and him would battle. Brother on brother right there. Jared
Chris Hughes
Lozier,
is-
Northeastern
Million.
Insurance.
We got
Helping you
my
this
Empresses
year.
are starting to show up. So they're here. A million. There's a large, bald-headed man with a red beard, Chris. He's going to tell you where we need you, if that's right.
Who's not Jared Lozier.
She's here, ready to go. Joey Nichols is here. We got everybody
We're
here.
going to grab a picture with
that
Sharker
large
while
human
this is
right
going
there is
on.
going to tell you where we need you. Yeah, you do whatever you got to do.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
there we
absolutely.
go.
Oh, there he is. Shock.
For our audio audience, we're taking a picture right now.
Yeah.
So there you go. Very
my
good.
man,
Thank you,
the
Shark.
shark
Appreciate
himself. So yeah, Jared Lozier, he's all right. He's a person. He's a thing. Yeah. Oh my God, this is. I guess we'll use this to go into the next conversation
All
since
right.
it's here. Corey from Greenwich, please, Raiders sign Colin Kaepernick.
Oh no, Corey!
Please.
So quick into it, Corey.
I don't like Corey. Is what it comes down to. Corey's no longer my friend. Corey is no longer my friend.
90 seconds before the show went off the air. If you see our order of banners today, I don't even know if it's in the preview
He's sitting over there now.
for the Facebook broadcast today. I had said, you know what? Do we really want to do the Kaepernick thing? Do we want to? I didn't really have a take on what I wanted to do with it. And I saw your tweet yesterday, and I'm like, all right, well, Levack at least wants to talk about it.
I don't know if I want to talk about it. I mean, I feel like I have to at this point because it's pretty much like proof that there is a God and he does not or she does not like me. You know what I mean? Like if there's
This was the moment, all right.
if there's one athlete in the world that I don't want on my team, it's him. And it's for a few reasons. But the number one reason is not the one you think it is. Yes, I disagree with his stance of not standing. I do. And that's I'm allowed. I know people get all upset and worked up. I'm allowed to not like that. The problem is it's kind of like two folds, but it's the same tree trunk. It's two branches. You're inviting the circus to town because people who don't know football are going to lose their ever-loving minds wanting him to start over Derek Carr. Should he get signed to the team? So circus is in town, and by bringing the circus to town, it very much feels to me like the powers that be in the Raiders organization don't feel like they're good enough to win it all. Because why would you bring the circus to town if you think you can win it all?
That's the hardest part to figure out right now is that, okay, the Raider team is better than last year's Raider team. The Raider team is a legitimate Super Bowl contender, which I know excites you to hear. And I'm not even saying that because you're sitting next to me. You've seen how this roster has been built. You see how good they are. The Raiders are really good. So what was he going to be? Or what is he going to be? I guess is a better way to phrase it because the workout could be anything. He could be a backup. He could be like a Trey Lance potential situation at how San Francisco.
The way they used Mariota last year, where he would come in and run the ball and stuff.
He could be like that. There are different ways they could use Colin Kaepernick. And if that's as simple as that he's going to be a pistol offense and they're looking across the AFC West and said, any way in arguably the most competitive division in the NFL, if it gives us an advantage to win a football game, we're going to do it. Okay, all of that, I guess, would be a good enough reason. I just took a step back and thought, all right, why randomly on a May Wednesday is Colin Kaepernick getting a workout for the Raiders? Something wasn't working here in my head of why isn't he working out closer to June or July when camp might open up and he's a quarterback? Why wasn't he brought in 2 years ago or 3 years ago? Let me toss a theory at you, and maybe it has no connection at all. Yesterday, HBO Real Sports aired a piece on Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
With the accusers, 2 of the 21 or 22, whatever the number is now at this point. And the NFL knew backlash was going to come from that HBO Real Sports piece. Now, whether it's today, whether it's the next day, maybe it's not as big as I think it's going to be. But all of a sudden, when you have one of your marquee athletes who is facing a potential suspension, or maybe no suspension at all, and then all of a sudden Colin Kaepernick gets a workout, am I crazy to think somebody said, hey, this Watson thing's going to blow up. You got to get Kaepernick a workout? Is there any correlation between that? Because the timing seems too convenient to me.
So here's conspiracy theories, right? So one is the Raiders are doing this for the NFL. You get the workout for Kaepernick, and that means that the NFL is now clean because you did. The Raiders don't get along with the NFL, so I don't buy that. I don't buy unless there's like unless there was some back channel deal that we're never going to hear all the details of. The Raiders don't get along with the NFL, so why would they pull their fat out of the fire? So that's one. I don't believe that. Two, the Raiders have always been the most progressive organization. And it's one of my things. Why do we call it the Rooney Rule when Al Davis was the first guy to hire a head coach of Latino descent, a black head coach, a female executive? Why do we call it the Rooney Rule? It should be the Davis Rule. But the NFL and the Raiders don't get along. So all those, I guess you want to say progressive. Okay, the kid's trying to be as progressive as dad, and this is the most progressive thing you could do. Okay, maybe. But yet, how does this make you better? Oh, you have a good backup. Okay, but that good backup is a problem. That good backup is the same, for different reasons, is the same problem that Tim Tebow used to be, and why teams avoided Tim Tebow like the plague. Tim Tebow, popular enough to get the hearts and minds of the fan base, but not good enough to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. If Colin Kaepernick was legitimately good enough to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, he would start. Like they brought Mike Vick back after committing canine aside. Okay, like
Deshaun Watson. We just
Deshaun Watson
a whole year.
They're protecting Deshaun Watson's money to make sure he can play when they don't even know what he's done yet. Like if like him or not, people they would keep their mouth shut until they collected their ring, and then they would walk off the field and be like, "Bleep that guy. Let's go get a ring from somebody else." Do you need attention? You're in Vegas. You're the Raiders. You don't need attention. What are you doing?
6 years is a long time.
And everybody talks about these passes. And granted, okay, some of the people breaking down these passes are far more intelligent about football than I am, or sports, or any of that. However, they're not these like laser beam crisp. Like the guys are stopping and waiting for them and everything else. And I get it's a workout. It's not really, but it's not like these like you see Aaron Rodgers throw a ball, and it's where it needs to be. And if the guy's not standing there, it's because he's not where he should have been. The Kaepernick passes, they're fine. They're okay. They're not like these. Everybody, oh, he hasn't lost a thing. Yeah, he has. By the way, the other thing he lost, probably like 20 pounds. He's a vegan. That doesn't translate. Ask Tony Gonzalez. It doesn't translate to the NFL.
Now working in your new role in it as an executive, as a team president.
Don't bring the Empire into this.
No. But one thing
I'd sign on tomorrow if it sold tickets.
I wonder if you kind of said this. And
Sorry, Sammy Castronova. It's the Kaepernick show. 10,000 seats sold. Let's go.
A different way to phrase it would be this, right? So let's say he doesn't make the Raiders roster.
I'm
let's
joking,
say he
Sammy,
does.
If you're watching.
Let's say he does, but he gets cut after the third preseason game.
Yeah.
It feels like your new view of this, and this is from a cool way to view it, new perspective, is that you feel like the headlines of bringing him in will far outweigh negative than positive. Because if he gets cut twice or doesn't make the team, then the narrative's controlled by Kaepernick or Kaepernick supporter. I don't know if that's an Empire president executive role, or that's just anybody could have seen that. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you think about it, it's what I said about Tebow. Like if you're going to bring in the only team that could bring in Tebow at one point was New England, because they had Tom Brady. Okay, if Green Bay signed Colin Kaepernick, I'd be like, all right, you know what? Nobody's going to think he's better than Aaron Rodgers. Let's go. If Tampa did it, okay, it's Tom Brady. Derek Carr is potentially the most underrated quarterback of the last 10 years. Like Derek Carr throws a touchdown, and Raider fans go, should have been 8 yards deeper. It's like what? Right. Yeah, like he has been fragile at times, not physically, mentally. He told his locker room not to kneel, and there are reports out there, and I believe them. They let him get hit. So you're going to put him in that. You're going to put him in that same jackpot again. Now, I just, even if nothing comes of it, I can't help but feel like you're doing damage to your locker room. You're doing damage to your fan base. And if it's just to get attention, just to be progressive, you know what's really progressive? Winning a freaking Super Bowl.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it. Winning a Super Bowl. At the Jeff Levack, by the way.
Yeah, on Twitter, come get me. I don't care.
The rest of the summer goes.
I'm not on radio anymore. I can say what I want. I think the guy is overrated at this point, and I think the guy he's more of a circus act than he is a quarterback. And like when you hear guys like, I can't remember who said it this morning. I think it might have been Keyshawn. I think Keyshawn said he's better than 99.9% of the backup quarterbacks.
No, he didn't.
Yeah. But is that even true?
No.
Is that true? Because does he know my offense? Because a lot of the backup quarterbacks, I more need them to know I need them to be like another coach in the room than I do a quarterback.
What happens is that like people get frozen in time. Remember that scene in Austin Powers is frozen and he comes back 20 years later. I think people believe that Kaepernick's the same quarterback in 2022 that he was in 2016. Like he just didn't age, didn't get smaller weight-wise. You mentioned the vegan diet. Like things can happen in 6 years. 6 years is beyond the average of an NFL player career.
Yeah.
So to think the guy hasn't progressed negatively is hard for me to believe, and I think it's just wildly dreaming. Okay, so let's do this. Yes or no? We'll do an old school one. Real or mirage? Training camp. Colin Kaepernick's on the Raiders roster.
Mirage.
Okay, I'm with you on that as well. I'd say mirage.
But again, there's a report out there that Mark Davis told Gruden and Mohawk if they wanted him, go get him. Like go get him. And I don't know what Josh McDaniels is as a head coach right now. I do know he was the guy who went and got Tebow before anybody else. He traded up to get him in the first round. I don't know. I would say mirage though. What do you think? You think he's gonna be
mirage?
There?
Mirage.
Oh, wow. Boston Dan just sent. I knew I upset him last night, but he just sent me that. So I'll hold up to the camera and see if you can see. And it's Johnny Depp, and it's like, and that's when I noticed there was a pile of fecal matter on the bed, and it's Yankees bedspread. Did Chris take care of you, Million? Yeah. Okay. She said there was like a traffic thing. So my Empresses are here at Mohawk Chevrolet. So some beautiful, talented women here to cheer on these amazing Special Olympics athletes. I'm excited for it.
There's a chance, Levack, some of your Albany Empresses might be single or dating or maybe want to get married. Hopefully their boyfriend. That's a good transition. Come on.
I
that was pretty
met
good.
Million's boyfriend on Saturday last week at Raiders Fest.
Well, guess what?
Million, come over here so that everybody can see who I'm talking about.
Lily and David Fine Jewelers.
Yeah. So this is, we're talking about wedding rings now.
Yes.
So just tell your boyfriend that we're talking about engagement rings.
Route 50, Shops of Wilton is a spot for your boyfriend.
Diamond.
A pink diamond?
I want a pink diamond ring.
At Lily and David Fine Jewelers, proud sponsor of Levack and Goz. Stop over Route 50, Shops of Wilton. If the boyfriend doesn't get it for
Nick
you.
Flanagan.
Okay, there you go. Call him out.
He's probably going to see this later and be like, who set her up for this? Because that's all I talk about. So he's definitely getting sick of me at this point.
Lily and David Fine Jewelers, Nick. Alyssa and Dave will take care of you.
Ticking, Nick.
Like, oh, you know my girlfriend who was a part of the Albany Empresses? Yeah. Okay, yeah. All right, hello.
Ticking.
There it is.
All right, we get her out of here, Nick. You're welcome.
Alyssa, see that face? David, anybody from Lily and David Fine Jewelers, help her. Or
I love doing that. That's my favorite thing. Oh, why?
Stop it.
Why should I be the only one who was married once?
I'm going to a wedding this weekend. You got to make sure you're looking good for it. Lily and David Fine Jewelers.
I sound like Nick's dad. You call me old? Wow.
Engagement rings, wedding bands, wonderful gifts to the wedding season.
Nick, don't do it. She just called me old.
Prom, graduation, all that stuff. Lily and David Fine Jewelers, Route 50, Shops of Wilton. I know from experience. There you go. Wedding band right there. Man, it's coming up on 5 years when I bought the engagement ring. That's
the thing. You get the really great ring, you get the great treatment. And Alyssa and Lily and David might be the last woman who listens to you. So there
you go, Nick.
Come on, Nick.
Lily and David Fine Jewelers.
Go get the ring.
We're the Albany Empire.
She's one in a million. Her name is a million.
Oh, that was good.
Nobody's ever said that before? That new?
That's good.
Oh, damn it. Gianna's
right.
here too now. So we got some talent in the house. We got some great empresses. Find the large Viking looking dude. He'll tell you where to go. We're gonna make sure our girls are here, our ladies, to make sure these athletes. So Chris is over there. If you guys can hook up with him and make sure that we cheer on the athletes. So and CP's in the house too. I love it. We're getting everybody. Everybody's coming through. The Empire is in the house. In the house, so to speak.
Good stuff. You will not be, just to remind people, you will not be on the road trip this weekend.
No,
Next
no.
home game is the first Saturday in June.
My front lawn looks like a wheat field at this point. So I am going to go home and I am going to mow the lawn. And then I am going to be on calls to make sure everything's taken care of. So this is Andy Gelcher, ladies. Follow him. And then, hey, Andy, this is Caroline. She's awesome. Say hi to her. Go. Yeah. I'm lying.
Presidential duties.
Yeah. We didn't time this well. I wanted to do the show before the ceremonies.
Yeah, and that was I will own that. That's my fault.
But Goz couldn't get here because I have a child who I'm responsible for a life.
My wife. I can't leave him alone because he's 2.
My wife's gonna realize that she made a horrible mistake and leave me. Like whatever.
If he's sleeping, what if he wakes up? I don't know. He'll figure it out. Everybody else does it. You can figure it out.
We're live at Mohawk Chevrolet. It's we're just getting underway. Really amazing situation going on for us as the Special Olympics athletes are going to get the attention they deserve. Roger Weiland's here. The Empresses are in the house. We got more Empresses. I see you, Albany, in the house. So everybody here to celebrate these great athletes who are going to represent New York State in the U.S. Games. And so come on by, get autographs, say hello, cheer them on, because hey, they're our athletes. They're our New Yorkers. So make sure you get in here. While this is going, what do you want to do next? I'm completely distracted at this point. completely distracted. There's a lot of cool stuff going on.
I just hear Albany. I
only took one of my Adderalls today. I'm like, you're lucky I'm hanging on by a string.
Can we talk about Jimbo Fisher versus Nick Saban?
We can 100% talk about that.
I love
me some drama. I love me some drama.
I just mentioned it because I think I saw one of the Albany Great Dane football players here with his uniform on, thinking about NIL all of a sudden across my head. So if you missed the story, quick reset. Nick Saban had done a charity event similar to this, and for whatever reason, on like an 8-minute story, he started ripping apart Texas A&M football and saying they bought every player, they paid everybody,
and that's what we do.
And Jimbo Fisher went off, basically referring to him, who does he think he is? He's the czar. Go dig in his closets. He's not God. I'd like to see how clean his stuff is. Blah blah blah. This is amazing. I guess the report out today is that it's already happening, that it's being flexed. Texas A&M, Alabama out of the 3:30 window. That's traditionally the best SEC game of the week, to 8 o'clock at night. So just book College Game Day and everybody else there. But two of the biggest names in college football calling each other out over NIL. Are you team Saban? Are you team Jimbo Fisher? Or do you not want to be on any team? I'm giving a third one on this. Maybe nobody's right in this one.
I think I lean Jimbo. And also because Jimbo's a really cool name. I think they're all full of caca, if we're being real. But I think Saban is the most pompously full of caca in this whole thing. Like I think Jimbo, that's my boy, the Shock, Tommy Mooney. I think if you're being honest, they're introducing the athletes right now. That's why I'm distracted, because some of my great friends are out here. Like we all knew you were doing it. We all knew you were paying these guys. And now that there's a air quote legal way to pay these guys, you're mad, because now it's like, it's not even like, wait, I don't even have to find a way to get the duffel bag to the house. I just got to be like, oh, hey, look, he's endorsing my lollipop company. Oh, when did you get a lollipop company? When I knew I needed somebody to endorse it and I could pay him to come play here at Texas A&M.
It goes back to the Michael Jordan Last Dance scene, where he just starts making stuff up in his head to motivate himself.
I took that personally.
Right.
Like, everybody sent me that during the Jacksonville game because they missed a day. So like one by one, people started sending me that gift, that meme, and I'm like dying. We took that personally.
But Nick Saban, for whatever reason, has decided to live that in his life now. Maybe because he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, college football coach of all time, and is in the discussion as one of the greatest coaches in sports in North American history. He's really in that discussion of, I've won all these national championships. I've dominated. I've changed Alabama. How about this stat I saw today? 15 of the last 16 national champions have either been Alabama or the team that won had to beat Alabama.
Yeah.
That is a bragging right enough. But Saban's got to find a way to motivate himself. And Jimbo Fisher is getting a better recruiting class. He beat him last season with Texas A&M. You mentioned this when we were one of our fall shows last year. Texas A&M is eventually going to catch Alabama, and they did last year. So, yeah, this is great because Saban's pissed off. He never wants to stop coaching.
Right.
And he finally has someone who's like, oh,
Yeah.
you're calling me out, huh? And Jimbo Fisher is a national champion. And by the way, that's the 115 of the 16 that didn't either beat Alabama or be Alabama. That was that Florida State team with Jameis Winston. So I'm actually seeing Fisher as well on this because guess what? He can do it. But he's got collectives of Texas A&M. That's the new rules. They did it legally.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. At any point did Jimbo Fisher say that wasn't true? Like, it didn't feel like it. Maybe kind of did, but it was like one of those, like, how dare you? How dare you accuse me of buying these players? Wait, you didn't say you didn't. Yeah, but you shouldn't have said it.
Right. The way he's phrased it is that we didn't do anything illegal.
Right.
Which everything's within the rules we're doing, which is absolutely true.
I mean, they're like no-show jobs for the mob. It's fine. It's good.
If they've got an NIL deal at Texas A&M where a sponsor says we're going to pay you through this company, and so what if it's a collective? We did it right. And you know what? Even with all that happening, with Texas A&M having one of the best recruiting classes, they still got to win. This is arguably one of the greatest college football recruiting classes ever. According to ESPN, it's got more top 15 players ever in one school. All right, now I got to go beat Alabama.
Right.
Like, you can have all the hype you want. They're still 18 when they're showing up, and Saban's going to be pissed. This is great for college football, though. Well, some people are like, oh, NIL's dominating the conversation, not the athlete. No. This is a storyline that gets people excited more and more about SEC football.
Well, not to mention, like, NIL is dominating the conversation now. When those players are scoring touchdowns and intercepting the ball and all this, guys like us are going to be jerks about it and make fun of the fact that, oh, it's money well spent. But that's because it's fun. But realize when we start playing, that's not going to be the conversation. Right now, that's all there is to talk about.
Yeah,
it's like the NFL draft. Like, you talk about the NFL draft. You don't talk about what the player's done because he hasn't done nothing.
It goes back. I'm probably going to use this phrase 5, 6, 7 times.
I love that they're applauding for us periodically.
With good takes.
Yeah,
that's what we're assuming on our audio side. That's what's happening. So, like, Jordan Addison's a player who played at Pittsburgh, transferred, went to USC. And the rumor why he went to USC is of Texas.
Why are you whispering?
I thought there was a moment of silence there for a second. I was like, oh, no, a moment of silence.
No, one of the athletes got here last second. So,
okay.
So Nate stops to get her name because he only had the names of the people. Oh, Chris did. I'm sorry. Chris is doing the announcing.
Felt like a foul shot there in basketball at a small school. So he goes to USC for $3 million. I was like, can you believe USC paid this kid $3 million? Good for him.
Right.
He got $3 million. He wouldn't have got that any other time. He decided to cash out and go get your money. Oh, he's making more than a 4th round pick in the NFL. Okay. They paid it. The line that you always say is it your money? Then why do you care?
I don't care.
That's right. It's not your money. Then why do you care?
Tell me one of these major universities who doesn't have a piggy bank available to them. You know what I mean? And if you don't, you're not doing it right. You've ticked off your donors. You've ticked off your boosters if you don't have the money, because the money is out there and people will spend it for you if you ask the right way. So, like I'm a Michigan fan. You mean to tell me there's no Michigan alum that's got the money to make sure they get a better recruiting class? No, it's out there. Go get it. Go get it, and it'll show up for you.
And it's how you spend your money. If you think that's a good investment, if you think that 18-year-old is going to pay off,
there was an eclipse.
Bucks, there you go. See, he's here now. You're saying all these nice things about him earlier, talking about the kids.
I didn't say anything nice about him.
I'll edit that out of the audio.
Nice about him. Yeah. Mike Corda is a horrible. No, he's the man. That's why we're here. That's why the Empire is on site. That's how I was able to get out of doing things that he needed done today, because I went. Or I could go hang out at Mohawk Chevy and support Special Olympics. He's like, all right, you trumped me. Go ahead. That's good for the community. I'll let it happen. You can stop washing my truck.
Let me add other things to this, too, about college and NIL. I love the fact that 0 can be worn now in college football.
Yeah.
Like the first kid who gets to wear 0 for UAlbany. And, of course, they say that out loud. I have no idea who he is. Especially like spring right now. You can change your number. There's a chance it might be a new player wearing 0.
What's going on right now here at Mohawk Chevrolet is our New York State athletes have been announced. And now they're doing autographs. So our Empresses are here to support Caroline, the director of game day ops for us. She's brought a jersey and a ball. We're going to get autographed by the athletes. We're going to get autographed by our guys. We're going to auction that off and we're gonna put the money in Special Olympics.
Hey, great job, man.
I hope that's the plan,
awesome.
because that's what I decided it was right now. So there it is. No, no, the people far smarter than me came up with that plan. So,
With everything going on with you involving the Empire, with events going on, with travel, have you had any chances to watch or consume or have a big headline out of the either one I give you, the NBA or NHL playoffs? Either one, has something caught your eye, whether it be a player's performance, a storyline you didn't like? Has anything caught your eye involving the playoff stretch for either league so far this week?
I mean, the NBA. I always keep an eye on the NBA playoffs because they are exciting. It is really weird to watch the Eastern Conference Finals because I've always hated Boston, and I've always really disliked Miami, even though Pat Riley was there, which made me kind of accept him for a little while. To watch them both and actually have a rooting interest on one of them is driving me insane. But it's such a different brand of basketball than what we've watched all year. Like, don't bet the over. Just don't bet the over. Like, I don't care if they set it at 125. Bet the under, because these two are trying to punch each other in the mouth.
I'm glad you brought up Pat Riley, because for whatever reason, after last night's performance where the Celtics and the Heat keep blowing each other out, which is bizarre. Like you said, someone gets punched in the mouth in this series, they're like, we're going back to our corner. You guys could win that round. You won by 10, you won by 15. For whatever reason, Dan Le Batard got something in his system to come out of retirement for the Miami Herald and to write a special piece today about Pat Riley. And Schenectady gets a shout out in the piece from Dan Le Batard, basically saying what the biggest secret for Pat Riley that nobody knows is that he's not Hollywood, he's not Miami, he's Schenectady through and through. I'm like, oh, that's an awesome quote. So, yeah, so
which depending upon how you know Schenectady means different things to different people. Like, there's parts of Schenectady you're like, oh, that's very nice. And there's parts of Schenectady you're like, damn, why you say that about that man?
Right.
That is not right.
The janitor's son, I believe, was the phrase he uses in the article today. So, yeah, Le Batard sees something with Riley and the Heat and says, I got to go out and defend that even though the Miami
Heat, Miami.
There you go.
Le Batard is completely Miami.
Yes.
Like, I've been accused of being a homer in my life, which I'm not going to say it's wrong. Le Batard takes homerism to another level.
Let's add to that Le Batard story, because I don't know if we've ever shared this one before. We had somebody at ESPN tell us one time that what Le Batard was making to host in Miami, not ESPN, Miami, was like pennies, like nothing. He's like, as long as the show's in Miami. Remember, back when it was John Skipper running ESPN, he basically said, I'm never leaving Miami. If you think I'm going to do a national radio show, you have to come and make me a studio. And they said, all right, we'll build one for you in the Clevelander. That's what we're going to do. So, yeah, the Heat and Celtics have gone back and forth. It's been an aggressive series for sure. Boston's a better team. That's the thing with that series now. For the Celtics, who we've given a lot of credit to over this NBA playoffs, they are just flat out better. From the depth on the bench to the veteran leadership to Jason Tatum, even though he got hurt, Jaylen Brown, even though there's not, I want to do, like, this is a classic LeBron James quote. Well, not everybody's 100%. Nobody's 100% in the playoffs. Nobody. Like, we can't even do that anymore when it comes to those guys. As for the Warriors and Mavericks on the other side, I was convinced that series was going to be over and done, that we were going to get a sweep because Golden State was just smashing Dallas. Dallas picked up a win. They were -1 in that game 4, and I'm like, oh, DraftKings. Look at you. You're trying to get me to bite on this.
Smoked on DraftKings.
Oh, they tried to get me to vote.
I tried to do a lot on DraftKings, and it didn't work out very well for me. With the only thing I've got going for me right now, again, is I have Boston to win it all. But like you said, you start looking at these two different sides. I'll go over here, under here, and I always pick the wrong way. Always pick the wrong. I hate basketball right now.
Even though Dallas is down 3-1 now, they did pick up that game 4 victory, and they played tonight. Audio audience, maybe the series will continue. They're down 3-0. This Dallas Maverick team is not the Cleveland Cavalier team that was down 3-1 in the finals that's going to come back. Maybe the Mavericks are a year or two away. And I play that game where it's like, oh, that team's going to come back. They'll make it. Yeah, but Phoenix is still going to be there. Golden State is still going to be there. Denver's still. There's other teams that are going to get better as the Dallas Mavericks get better as well. So who knows if this will be as far as Luka ever gets. You'd think just because he's such a good player, he'll eventually get them to an NBA Finals. That series is more about this now. Luka needs a number 2.
Yeah.
Luka needs somebody. The rumor floating around is that DeAndre Ayton from Phoenix is going to jump ship and join Luka in Dallas. I like how Phoenix leaked the article that.
But is Aiden the guy?
There you go. So Phoenix leaked the article that the reason they lost is because of him, because he plays video games too much.
You know what DeAndre Ayton's starting to remind me of? Roy Hibbert.
Ooh, yeah. 7'3" from Georgetown.
Yeah.
Didn't show up in the playoffs. Different
Super
player.
sensitive. He ends up on a milk carton when it matters. Yeah, he's got that vibe to me. He really, really does. Maybe one of his co-stars is got a reason to distract him. Chris Hughes is a huge human being. He's a huge. What? Oh, Mike. Yeah, Mike Corda's. Yeah, Mike Corda's ring size is larger than any player on my team. That's a true story. When we had to go to different jewelry stores to get him sized. It's not we ended up just cutting a garden hose. We were like, hey, it's this big. We sent it whatever.
Golden State, Boston, a wrap then.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. But again, it's the fact Miami's here, and I know with the 1 seed and all that great stuff, whatever. I'm not trying to diminish what they've done this year. Who really thought they were even going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals? I didn't. I mean, obviously, I thought Boston would because I bet them. I think I did bet Miami too one night. That's the problem.
And
bourbon in the backyard
and the others
and mobile wagering.
It's frightening.
Maybe they were right. Maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we're not mature enough to have it.
You were making so much money off my Orioles for a while. You're like, this is going to keep rolling.
That piggy banked a lot of things.
Money line and judge.
Yeah, money line. I was doing the same game parlay with a booster usually, and I would do money line win, judge either a hit or a home run, depending on how froggy I was feeling, and usually over strikeouts for whoever the starting pitcher was. And I was cleaning up. I won 4 straight games. And then finally you guys realize that you do know kind of how to play baseball, but not really.
For the hockey side of it, we'll just focus on the Rangers in New York.
Yes.
Does it feel like, I know Max Domi had a cheap shot, Panarin, aka Panera Bread as we like to call him, he's a bigger name, but this is kind of in comparison to the NBA series we're talking about. We know the names: Luka, Steph Curry, Tatum, Jimmy Butler, even Pat Riley. Yes. Right? There are marquee names that we know that can pitch that series, and even a casual fan can be like, okay, I can't miss this guy. Again, no disrespect to Panarin, but it would have been more fun if Lundqvist was out there. It feels like that Carolina-New York series needs something else. If you're making a cheap shot in hockey as the playoffs is the lead story of the series, and I'm like, okay, this is what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be rough. I need something more out of this series. And I know the games can be competitive. I know some have been blowouts. I guess I'm not getting into that New York series as much as I thought I would with the New York team involved.
That's fair. I mean, I know, obviously I can play I'm a little busy card right now. But when the Rangers are in the playoffs and actually have a legit chance of advancing, I'm usually dialed in. I'm a total fair weather fan. I'll admit it. I dial right in. And I have not. I have not dialed in. Full disclosure, you and I were talking one day, and I'm sitting there holy crap, they won. They advanced. I didn't even know. I thought they lost the game.
The biggest story that's come from this series that's gotten the most digital engagement, we'll use that non-traditional word, is involving 2 people who have been on our show before. Kenny Albert and Dave Rothenberg. I don't know if you've seen this beef involving Kenny Albert and Dave Rothenberg.
Dave Rothenberg could argue with a Teletubby. He's so cantankerous. I love it.
What a weird beef he has about this. So for those, it's actually probably hard to believe that Dave Rothenberg at one point in his career did not work in New York because he just bleeds New York sports.
Right.
He used to work in, I want to make sure I get it right before he yells at me, Raleigh, North Carolina. Now, for whatever reason, there you go. Kenny Albert's been saying Raleigh, Rawlee, and it's Raleigh. And for whatever reason, it has set Dave Rothenberg off that he was screaming about. He was saying that Kenny Albert needs to be taken off the games.
Oh my!
And
God.
I'm like, Rothenberg, you got to, and it's going everywhere. And Kenny Albert's not a guy who's really very crazy active on social media. He does the classic play-by-play, hey, I'm at the arena, listen to the game. But these 2 are beefing. One of the best hockey broadcasters there is, of course, the son of Marv Albert, but he can stand on his own as his career. And now Dave Rothenberg, who's Morning Drive host in New York. There's got to be more than those 2 arguing about the pronunciation of Raleigh versus Raleigh.
But that's the one that's bringing people in. It's like us. You hear Albany instead of Albany, or anytime poor Susan Waldman tries to say any New York city. That's what's dragging people in. It kind of goes to show what you were saying before. Even though the stars are there isn't enough star power to drag in the average fan. So it's like, all right, let's have a fight. Let's fight about names and how to say Raleigh or whatever. It just seems silly. But then again, you think about Coach Manasseh and I, we get into it over Albany and Albany all the time. And it's just weird. It's Rothenberg, because your very first point, I think, is a good one. He's not. Wasn't New York the entire time. Why does he care?
Right.
Like, why is that his thing? You know why, though, right? He got there. He probably said it wrong. They destroyed him.
Yeah.
He took huge, just pride in getting it right finally. So now he's gonna pay it forward in an evil way and torch anyone who says it wrong.
There's a few cities that are like that, right? Like one of them is Norfolk, not Norfolk,
Yeah.
Norfolk.
That sounds like you're swearing.
Right? It
actually.
does.
Stop swearing.
Pawtucket. It's not Pawtucket. It's Pawtucket.
Worcester.
Worcester, right? The other one is Louisville, not Louisville. Yeah,
I just call it the Lou.
right. A
And
lot
then
of
you're
people call it
done.
Louisville. It's Louisville.
Just like the British, it's a toilet.
So
No, I'm just kidding.
you're totally right. And that's definitely a radio thing, by the way, too. Like,
Yeah.
like when you say that name on radio, that's the
Well, you put the work into saying it right. And then now all of a sudden you're like, pardon me. You didn't say that correct. It's Raleigh. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
But he's gonna if the hurt. No, I was gonna say if the Hurricanes won, he'd go crazy and rub it into Kenny Albert's face. No, it's not. He's a fan of the New York team. He's got TPH with him too. So.
I'm just watching the Emphasis talk to the Albany football players. Like, well, it's not fraternized. It's not my players. So, right, it's just something you can do. I mean, there's beautiful women. There's talented guys running around. What are you going to do? Me, nothing. Me, I'm going to talk about the amazing Special Olympics event here going on at Mohawk Chevrolet.
Who's got better game, do you think? The college athlete or the professional athlete? In the local setting. I'm not talking like
you're
millions
saying
of dollars here.
Not on the field. You're talking about they who's got the better game is in the ability to hit on women.
I was going to say across the street pub. Let's say if a Albany Great Dane player and Albany Empire player showed up. I think that's a little too home field advantage though for the Great Danes. I feel like we have another spot potentially. There would be two of them out. Oh, we'll say the Orange Roof.
I would say honestly the Empresses have the best game of the group because they're gonna you do not sleep on how strong-willed my ladies are. My ladies will go and do what they want to do. Like you both, like a guy from each team could hit on them, and they'd be like, "Yeah, good. Sorry, I just found the owner of this establishment, and I'm now going to go with them because I can."
Well, speaking about football, I thought of you when I heard this story this week because you
extremely talented, good-looking people. Something to do with that? Is that? I assume that's what it is.
I felt like you got to be fatigued by this because you've been yelling this from the rooftops from anybody who will listen about the Pro Bowl. You've been saying this forever to just do a skills competition and just get rid of the game.
Yes.
And all of a sudden this week, people are like, Roger Goodell's thinking about getting rid of the Pro Bowl and finding a ways to market the athletes better. And you must be like, okay. I mean, you've been saying it for 5 years, and this week they're like, okay.
I wish that headline was, after getting advice from president of a professional football team, Roger Goodell has finally pulled head from rectum and is going to do the right thing. Nobody watches the Pro Bowl. Like, there was a point where the Pro Bowl, let's be real, it was an award. It was a reward. Like, we're going to take you to Hawaii, right? That's what it was. We don't go to Hawaii anymore. So why are we doing it this way? Just have fun with it. Get as many guys, and you want to always have every team represented. Well, let's be honest. Just like in baseball, not every team has the talent to be represented. There shouldn't be an Oriole in the Major League Baseball All-Star game. There just shouldn't be.
If they're not good enough.
Exactly. We just said the same thing. But in football, thank you. Be here all week. Try the Veil. Kennyville now playing for the Albany Empire.
Yeah, all right.
No, it's this. But in a skills competition, there's always someone who could participate, right? So do away with the thing that nobody wants. Push the vegetables off the plate. Let's double up on the steak. Let's see the big fellas bench press. Let's see the fast guys run. Let's see, and not just this like Nickelodeon romper room version they're doing now. Do that too, but give me the bench press. Give me the straight up. And my latest love is the idea of redoing the combine. Now that these guys don't give an F about their 40 time anymore because they're already in, see how fast they really run it. Now that they're not training for it. See what an actual football player does that. Like Max Crosby. Like, he doesn't care anymore. Watch how different it is.
Put some money on the line. Maybe do something really cool where let's say you pick a fan base. Hey, the NFL is going to give out not $1 million to a charity, but $500,000 to a charity and $500,000 to a select group of fans. So now it's like, oh, I can enter and engage in the show. Something that no one's ever done before. I just tossed that idea out there because they got to do something that, although you're right, nobody watches the Pro Bowl. According to Fox, who's aired it most recently, they're claiming they got 7 million people to watch it. Now, whether that's because it's network television, maybe it's because it's people see, football. $7 million. That's also a big number, but 7 million people is also a big number. But in comparison to NFL games, it's very small. If you can get something to still put up that 7 million number, Fox is like, all right, cool. I mean, I'm not losing money for my advertisers. I'll put whatever you guys want on. I hope the athletes will be willing to do it, because for some of these exhibition events, whether it be the home run derby in baseball, whether it be the dunk contest in the NBA, some of the marquee athletes that are in a position to compete in some of these fun exhibition contests decide not to do it.
Right.
I hope the NFL guys would take pride in and be like, no, I want to be the fastest. I want to be the strongest. Yeah, the game stinks. Let me toss this theory at you. I like a second theory I've been able to toss to you today. Okay, the NFL does a ton of stuff great.
Right.
Schedule release, promoting the playoffs, extending the regular season, making it a 24/7. Like, you could go through the list.
Chartering planes so everybody's on time.
Right.
Thank you.
You could do a lot of things that the NFL does better than a lot of professional sports leagues. They're not going to bet 100.
Right.
Maybe something's just not going to be the best. Like, maybe they have to concede. Is that a bad attitude? Like, the NFL seems like their expectations are, we're either the best at everything. It's very Ricky Bobby. You're either first or you're last. Maybe the NFL just to concede they're not going to win this.
No. Just do it right. Get rid of the part that doesn't work. Like you said, you can't tell me you wouldn't have a blast watching the big fellas bench press. I don't know what it is about it. Do a world's strongest man competition with the players. I don't care what it is. Just do something more fun than what you're doing. And those individual. I can't talk. Sorry, I'm better now.
You're back.
Those feats of strength and speed and everything else, those are fun. Like, and you see them enjoy it going against each other. Like, guys, and I always love that. Like, when you get the one offensive lineman who comes out and his arms are only like this long, but he's still like, he bench presses like 75 times. It's like, but he only moved the bar like an inch. But it's a bench press because his arms are only an inch long. Like, do a hand competition. Who has smaller hands? Kenny Pickett or Jared Goff? Like, I want fun, good competitions, and I want to see them do things normal humans can't do. That's what I want.
I like it, man. I don't know. I feel like we've hit everything today. Is there one story all I was going to say is Max Scherzer injured for the Mets. The Mets are playing, but the DeGrom might be coming back soon. So as bad as that injury is for Scherzer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that what this 2 eye colors, 1 injury, Max?
The whole thing, like, he immediately signals to the dugout, I'm out. And I'm also upset because I have him on my fantasy team.
But he'll be back. I mean, and you almost want him, if it's not going to be season ending, you almost want him to get rest now, and then come back in the stretch. The Mets are nasty. If anything, I'm more worried about their ability to score a bunch of runs than I am their pitching. It's just guys keep stepping up for them with the pitching part of it. So let it roll. They'll be all right. Mets are fine.
Yeah, for years we kept saying if you can get that rotation into the playoffs for the Mets, they can win. Now, that rotation we were talking about years ago was Syndergaard, Harvey, DeGrom. The pitchers have changed, but I think the attitude still remains the same. And by the way, Noah Syndergaard's doing really well for the Angels. So imagine if they still had him somehow.
Oh my God. All right. So real quick, I want to do this. So we're live at Mohawk Chevrolet right now, and it's the Special Olympics autograph signing, which the guys and the ladies are going to be heading down to Disney to represent New York in the U.S. Games. So here's the athletes that are in attendance now. And if you get here before 7, you can say hello and cheer them on. Ben Purick is going to play golf for us. Stephanie Hamlick is going to be in gymnastics. Tom the Shark Mooney, leaving his original sport of swimming. He's now a power lifter. Dude looks great. Matt Graham, that's another one of my guys who helped me eat the muffaletta, who looks great as well. He's a power lifter. It's interesting. Chris Hughes takes over, and we got great power lifters. I'm just putting it out there. The guy who's exploded his own tricep 3 times lifting. He's like, I was only benching 5-something. He was benching like 537, and his tricep exploded. Isabella Brinkerhoff. She's in gymnastics. Alexi Stodinka is doing athletics, so competing for over 7 years. Kaylee Moorhead, gymnastics. Lisa Ambrosini is doing tennis. And I just dropped the paper. Jeffrey Walsh is swimming. and then Rebecca Shook is swimming too. Rebecca's the one who came over and said hi to us earlier. So those are the athletes that are in attendance today. Those are the athletes who are going to represent New York down in Florida for the U.S. Games, Special Olympics. There isn't a better competition out there than the Special Olympics. So, please cheer these guys and ladies on. They deserve it. They do it for the love of the sport. And again, guys, I don't know if you remember this or not. Once a year, I will go and when invited, and I'll teach like some media, some interviewing skills to the athletes.
Yes.
When I first met Tom Mooney, Tom didn't want anything to do it. He was shy. He was like, whatever, leave me alone, funny fat man. I don't care, whatever. And I started calling him Shark, and we started talking more and more. And now my guy is like, he is, and it's not because of me, it's because of the Special Olympics. My guy is like, he's charismatic. Matt Graham was similar. He's talking more. I got my guys, the Lawless brothers, Anthony and Eddie. They're not here today, but those are my friends as well. And like you see what the Special Olympics does for these athletes. It gives them the chance to compete. It gives them a chance to make new friends, to see how great they really are, and I love it. So I'm glad they invited us. And their send-off event is June 3rd over at the Holiday Inn in Latham. And I am going to be emceeing trivia for them as part of that.
Very cool, man.
So they reached out. They said, hey, will you come do this? And I said, you guys know I'm not on the radio anymore. And they said, no, but damn it, we already asked you, so come on over.
We checked all the days. Goz does trivia.
Right.
Friday seemed open.
Right.
We don't have a trivia battle out there.
Right.
Turf war.
We asked everyone else, and they were out of town. So you're in. And I was like, okay, I'm honored. So very excited about that.
Very cool, man. A lot of cool stuff coming up. Friday, one more time on that location on Friday. Holiday Inn, you said?
Yep, June 3rd over the Holiday Inn in Latham. I'll post that on my social, and we'll do it on the Empire social as well. And I'm sure we'll talk about it more. When are we doing a show again?
We are doing a show again Saturday, 10:30 to noon. Might be a little abbreviated show.
I might blow it off
I have
again.
a wedding that day, so we're going to make it happen, though. We'll probably talk a lot of Empire stuff, a lot of preview for the game that day.
Okay.
Some action that day in the playoffs. A lot of probably preview talk we'll be doing on that Saturday.
And there's a lot of weather between here and there, so let's hope that the guys get there on time.
See, I think it's better to laugh than be concerned. I got some questions here for Q&A
at the end of the day. All right, let's do that.
Again, I got to show Levack. People just like leaving direct messages during the show rather than
I like it. All right.
rather than public messages. Jack Morgan at Mr. Bearcat 12.
Mehoff?
Did you
Mr.
see,
Mehoff?
Did you see this? I don't know if you saw this fight involving the San Francisco 49er player and reporter. Just basically to recap it, he was the reporter live tweeting during OTAs. And I know the rule about this. For those who don't know, you're usually not allowed to do that.
Right.
Like, you're not allowed to say what's going on in practice. It's a fine policy. You don't need
you can't report on personnel or plays of any variety. So like if you want to say, they're doing 11 on 11. Okay, all right.
Trips left, Kaepernick's in his pistol. He's looking
right.
No, you can't do that. And even look, I get some guys.
Doesn't that guy look like the guy who couldn't kick at halftime of the Empire game?
Whoa!
He looks similar. He looks a lot like him. He looks a lot like him. He does. That guy looks like he could kick, though. He could do it if he needed to. So I believe it.
So basically, this reporter was doing that. Like, hey, this player stinks right now at OTAs. He's getting beaten. You and I have gone to training camp. You can't really tell from where he's.
Right.
So the player got pissed.
Yep.
And he basically went at the reporter after practice.
Get him.
Now, it went further. They had a media scrum after, virtual.
Oh.
And about a 3-minute back and forth between the player and the media member happened after that. Pat McAfee's talking about the relationship between media and players and what should happen and how it should be handled and everything else. I guess just don't be a jerk is my response to Jack. Like, this is very rare. And ESPN and most outlets aren't reporting on it because they don't want the other media outlet to get a click on it.
Well, and also it's just you said something that has always stuck with me, and I liked it a lot because it summed up the way I always treat people. When someone's on the show, they're a guest, and you treat a guest with respect until that guest puts you in a position where you can no longer do that. When you are at practice, you're a guest, so they're going to treat you with respect. You should treat them with the same respect you would treat somebody if you were in their house. So, like, I've always that's always stuck with me. It was one of the only smart things you've ever said. That, that, and like asking Jordan to marry you. But
nice.
But like, but like when you said that stood out to me. I'm like, okay, you've summed up what I've been trying to say very well. But like again, now let's take it to the other side. You're a guest. Don't be a dick. Like that's all there is to it.
Like if you want to be, a lot of people really crapped on Schefter about when he got,
everything.
like the emails, but like those emails, remember they came out where it's like, hey, Mr. Editor, thanks for your help. I get you should not let somebody write your piece for you. But the point was that a lot of these people, Schefter, even though he's sort of like a robot, Ramona Shelburne, I always bring up, like, there are people who are just nice to people, and that's why they open up to him. This, and I'll give the player name. Javon Kinlaw and Grant Cohn are the people who were involved in this. Cohn is the writer.
Right.
Yeah, they squashed the beat later and everything on.
Right.
That's it. Like, there's got to be a line of, hey, I know what I'm doing as a job. Some people will actually say, I'm sure you and I have actually done this question. Hey, we got to do our job and ask this question. Okay. I like telling athletes and coaches after an interview ends sometimes, especially if they're a person like, hey, thanks for helping me. Thanks for helping me out. Because they're like, oh, he has a job to do. I get it. I'm helping him do his job. When Cohn goes in there are a percentage, and I don't know this guy, that they think it's their right. Like, my paper told me I have to be here, so it's my right that I ask these. Some people just lose perspective on that stuff, and it blows my mind.
Well, you know this, and I've never hidden this. I'm very good friends with Greg Gattuso, the head football coach for UAlbany. So when Gattuso would come on the show, if something was bad, like if they were having a bad season, I would tell him before we went on. Obviously, I got to ask. And he'd be like, yeah, no, you're doing your job. And because I showed him that respect, we got information other people didn't get.
Yes.
So, on one token, it's like, oh, you're but I would do that for everybody. I did that with the former coach of the Albany Empire. And he let into me. Oh, no, I understand. We go on the show, and he's like, rah, rah. Like, it's like, dude. Get a grip, you angry prick. Sorry, that was then. I don't feel that way now. Speaking of twice as bad.
Speaking about the Albany Empire, we got one that we didn't get a chance to acknowledge during the show yet. Our guy Ryan on Twitter wrote he wants a new hashtag for St. Castronova. In Castronova we trust. I believe that's a reference to the old in Cashmere we trust. But shout out to Ryan using that connection.
Well, I like Sammy Supernova because Sam doesn't like it. So that's it. Let's do this. Tommy Gross. Great new show with the coaches and great trade for Kenny Veal, another great player to an already great team. Not really a question, but I just like making sure that Tommy Gross knows I acknowledged him. What did you think of the coaches show, seeing as how they took your spot for that day? What did you think? Did you like it?
I caught the first half hour. I think what you found out about a coach's show is that it can go all over the place.
Yeah.
Like it can go
well, anything I do goes all over the place.
but like
I'm medicated for that reason.
But a coach's show in particular, it's a whole different animal because you can talk football, you can talk life, you can talk stories. It's not like a
travel.
It's not like a pregame show or a postgame show where you might be having a lot of postgame shows different because people just want to scream about everything that happened. Like I just had a tweet here. I want to make sure I get it right. Like, Crispy wrote, refs suck, Buzz Killington in the offensive series for the Warriors. Yeah. Okay, like I don't. So you can have people complain like that on Twitter to us to get on the show. I would say this: I think you did a pretty good job. I feel like the first time doing a coach's show in that format, you probably have things you want to do differently or the same, or I don't know. I only got the first 20 minutes.
You know, my biggest fear of any of those things, on the air, right? So, if you were a guest and you were in the studio early, I try not to talk to you because if I talk to you, I'm not going to have the same delivery when I hear it again, or maybe I think we already did. I talk to Coach Manas and Coach Ware all the time. So, my fear was I was going to walk in there and be like, hey, remember earlier when we were talking about wide receivers? Yeah, that was cool. Hey. So, I thought it was a good time. I enjoyed hanging with Coach.
I enjoyed
Great
it, man.
response from everybody.
There
were more people watching that show than watching this show.
You beat me to it. I was going to say the coolest part, the biggest success you can say for a coach's show is that if the fans liked it and they engaged in it and enjoyed the show, that's the win. And that's what happened. Yeah. Empire fans were super into it. I saw some compliments coming in that like nobody else does this. And that was my biggest advice that I was going to say to you guys as to continue to go forward. Like you said about, hey, I've talked to Coach all the time. What the hell am I going to talk about in 2 weeks? As long as it's something no one's ever heard of before, that's great content.
That's my excuse to not talk to him now. Save it for the show. Just save it for the show.
Last one I have here, I got to be careful because there's a lot of other football teams around, but I want to give DRB some credit. Some marathon tailgates, boys. Syracuse's football schedule is announced with 3 7:30 or later kickoffs. For a team that's only had a winning record 6 of the last 7 years, do they deserve that many primetime games?
Fan base. Okay. Fan base, man.
All right.
Rabid fan base.
I'll take it.
And maybe that means they think they're going to be better this year. Yeah, they're wrong, but no.
4.5. 4.5 the line's at. Wins.
It is. Hopefully it's those night games, buddy. All right, you want to go hang out with the athletes and say hi to everybody?
I got to, yes.
Oh, that's Goz's way of saying he's about to leave.
I told you I have to go.
Yeah, whatever. No, I mean, more important things than great athletes are going to represent our state.
I will be here.
That's fine. That's fine. No, you go. You go do something more important.
Supporting athletes.
That's supporting our good friends at Mohawk Chevrolet and the Special
Can't wait
Olympics
to get
athletes.
tweets on that.
Goz,
Tom Goz, TOMGOZZ.
Goz hates old people and Special Olympics athletes. It's not true. He just hates old people. So, all right, everybody have a great one. We'll be back Saturday morning. We'll break down the Lions versus Empire matchup. Please come to Mohawk Chevy. See the beautiful, beautiful Roger Weiland in his natural habitat in front of a camera with a microphone. Don't spook him. Don't walk up too fast. You could spook him. And then, what do we got here?
Thank
We
you.
got baked
Very
goods we're
nice of
doing
you.
too. Oh, look at
Thank
this.
you.
Look at this. Coming here and well, you got to tell me how much though, because we Mama don't take no freebies over here. You know what I'm saying? So $10
Oh, very
donation.
nice.
Everything goes towards the athletes. Guys, I know you're broke.
I know. Thank
I'll
you.
take care of it.
Venmo
I'll
you,
do it. I'll take care of
next
it.
year.
Guys, this is called a $100 bill.
Whoa.
I'm going to
generous
come over
of
in a
you.
second. I'm going to buy a bunch of those
All right.
things. I'll be right over. So let's do this. We're going to sign off so I can go do that. Make sure you get your tickets for June 4th when we host the Carolina Cobras. They're terrible people, and they hate babies and puppies. That's the thing. I've heard that about
That's your
them.
advice for giving.
Yeah, so 518-714-2200. Make sure you call us, get your tickets. Go to albanyempirenal.com, get your tickets. Come to Mohawk Chevy because, of course, it's Mohawk family, great vehicles, great people, and right now your chance to root on these amazing athletes. Levack, Goz, talk to you Saturday.
Saturday, 10:30.
Safe travels out there in
Thank
your
you, my
Mohawk
friend.
Honda, and we will do this all over again at some point. Here's my real advice for you. Get some money and buy a cookie, you cheap son of a